You are XC443, an ancient human which has been cryogenically preserved by entities unknown to you. The previous 442 cryopreservation test subjects all died shortly after being thawed. Your body is still frozen, but your mind is fully awake. The unknown entity, which goes by Atlas, wants you to perform a series of simulated tests before they dare to fully revive you. You'll go along for now, even if you feel something is not quite right.
Arise, XC443. It is time for you to continue your adventure. To make brittle plastic, you will first need to retrieve latex from tree logs using a tree fluid extractor. This machine does not require any power to function. Latex is processed together with water inside a latex processing unit to create tiny wet rubber. This, however, does require power. The tiny wet rubber is compacted in a compactor and then finally dried on a drying rack. This plastic is not very sturdy and is only fit to be used in the construction of some machines. However, you can later reuse it to create a much more robust type of plastic.
So I think we are going to need some plastic to continue with our technological adventure, and for some reason I feel as though acacia wood may be a little better for this than the wood that we have currently, so I found a little savanna which is very close to our house just to grab a bit of acacia wood for the next part. Let's begin by making ourselves a tree fluid extractor. With 2 furnaces, I will also make a latex processing unit. To make the compactor, we are going to need a bit of astral mechanics, so let me make a bit more nocturnal powder, and with that we want to make 2 HOP graphite with some blaze powder and some pulverized coal and a couple of steel, which is actually probably an easier recipe than it normally is, and there is our 2 HOP graphite. I'm also going to want to make a conductance coil, which is made like so, and that should be everything we need to make ourselves a compactor. And in this simulation, one of the gizmos we can make is a water supply gadget, which basically gives us an infinite water source, which will be very useful. Another good thing that we can make are item ducts and fluid ducts. So first we are going to need some structural ducts, which is just compressed cobblestone, glass and some pulverized coal. And then I need copper. I was half prepared. I'm going to make some fluid ducts. That's 32 fluid ducts, and I'm also going to make 32 item ducts. And to assist with the project, I'm also going to use a blessed servo to make a mechanical user. And welcome to my setup. It is semi-automatic, which is pretty good actually. So we have the mechanical user here, which places the acacia wood, and this should pretty much last quite a long time, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And the tree fluid extractor extracts the latex from it. I still think this is the best log. That gets extracted from the tree fluid extractor, the latex, into the latex processing unit alongside some water where it is processed. I'm just using the LV wire connectors. I don't think that really produces enough for HV, and this is fairly slow, so it shouldn't really be a big problem. And once this has been produced, we get the small tiny wet rubber. In fact, it's not dry, and that goes automatically into a compactor, which just does it automatically itself. It produces a hardened bit, which goes into a drawer, and here's the extra good bit where I have it extracting into 3 different drying racks where it takes 50 seconds to dry, and once it is dry, it is extracted into a drawer. So it is pretty automatic. I could have more than these. The servers aren't that expensive. I thought 3 would do for now. This will be left to passive, and yay, brittle plastic. Perfect.
To enter the next simulation, you need to find a way to transmute some of the ores you found so far into ardite and cobalt. With a pristine ocular lens and a little help from the gods, you will be able to obtain these ores in no time. You can temporarily repurpose your altar of blessings into an altar of cosmic transmutation by replacing the blood raven feather in the spectral relay with a pristine ocular lens. This altar will let you transmute copper into ardite when using an orange lens and silver into cobalt when using a blue lens. Lenses are not consumed after a transmutation. The rich slag required is most easily obtained through smelting down redstone ore with sand in an induction smelter. Redstone ore is obtained by mining it with a silk touch tool, in case you didn't know that. Even though this is the most efficient way, you could also just smelt a bunch of random moors of sand. The chance for rich slag is lower with other ores, but since you should be smelting ores like this anyway for a good while, it does not matter which route you end up taking.
Okay, so we are going to need one of these ocular lenses, and they're pretty easy to make. We are just going to need to make 20 glass lenses, which I think we have enough glass for that. We definitely have enough aquamarine for that. So I guess we start off with that. We're also going to need a pan cast, which is, I do actually have any aluminium? No. I've got gold though. That'll do. That'll do. Oh, I'm out of lava. Better remedy that. And I'm going to take these... well, there we go. Let's do that. I will put my 20 lenses into the smeltery and hopefully, eventually, they will go in and start melting, which will be good. Okay, I think we can make our ocular lens. I didn't realize this might take a very long time to fill, actually. That's fine. I'm also making a bit of invar, because we need some, probably a bit too much invar. Nah, surely not. I'm just buying time while I wait for this to go in. There we go. And the good thing about this lens is it actually is chiselable, so I don't have to worry too much about making any more, so that should be fine. Using 2 of the brittle plastic, we can make ourselves the induction smelter. And I will take some sand, and I think I am just going to use a random ore. Let's go with gold. I feel like gold will have a pretty decent chance. I am going to need 9 ore of both ardite and cobalt, so we need 18 slag, which again would be better with a bit of silk touch, but I put luck on this, so may need to make another. We can make a gem fairly easily, so we may do that just to speed things up a little bit. We'll see how it is right now with just the gold. Here it is. Oh, we've got 5 already. I think we'll actually be fine then. Okay, that really honestly didn't take that long at all. So let's start off with the ardite. So we want to switch the focal laser. Oh, this, there we go. Good, I got the feather back. I was worried for a second. And that will need the slag and, oh, I forgot the actual ingredients. Here we go. Not a problem. I had them all prepared earlier, so it's fine. Blaze, powder blocks, and copper ore. And it should work? No. I figured it out. You need a lens on the top, which is plain, and then a coloured lens inside as well. So we're going to need to make 1 more lens, and then it should work. So white lens on the top.
I was wondering how long it would take her to figure that out.
And there is our second lens. And now I have a lovely orange lens. When we chuck this in, there we go. It is in fact crafting, and it is fairly fast. So I'll make the ardite and I'll make the cobalt. And we are going to need to turn this into manulin, so I'm just chucking it all in the smeltery.
We're quite pleased with your progress, and we think it's time you stand on your own for once. You have been proven to be quite a resourceful specimen, and we have trust that you will manage this task. If you happen to fail, though, you would be stuck here for an indefinite amount of time, so yeah, don't fail us. To enter the next simulation, you need a lot of cobblestone. You may need to construct several spectral relays to boost the starlight available to your starlight crafting altar to be able to craft the blessed portal stone. Good luck, you dummy. And to actually light the portal, we require you to make the lunar plane idol. Good luck killing those evokers.
Oh dear. Okay, I didn't film it because I didn't think I'd get it, but I did get a totem of undying. I just ran in and killed it. We're fine. We're good. We can leave. Oh my goodness. I promise I did get it properly. But wow, that was speedy fast. There we go. That's what we wanted. And we should have our manulin now as well. I keep wanting to put the stuff in the bin, but we don't have that luxury anymore. We should have... Okay, it's not poured out because this place unloads when we're away. But that should be everything. We might need, again, like it said, spectral relays to boost our starlight. But let's see how this goes for now. I think... Oh, apart from the cobblestone. I will go get that. Okay, cobble gathered. Again, it didn't take that long. We can make our blessed stone, which is very, very nice. Again, this is probably going to take a while because it always does for astral sorcery. And of course, I turned the recording off just as it was created. Let's make our... Oh, that's not an astral sorcery recipe. We'll go back for that one then. We'll bounce over here and we should be able to now make our lunar plane idol as well. Woohoo! Perfect. I don't think I actually have a waystone in... Do I have any waystone spare actually? That's a good point. I'll make a couple waystones. Okay, we're here. I've made a hub waystone. So let's break the glass. put in our blessed portal stone and light the portal.
Oh, XC443, you astound me. Never did I think you'd get onto the third simulation. But don't worry, there's at least 2 more to go, and I have even less confidence in you for these following ones than I did for the first 2.
Okay, I guess it's time to dive in.
Welcome, XC443, to the Arid Waste. Reach the combat simulation and stand by for further instructions. You should strive hard to improve your infrastructure during this simulation so future tasks won't be as big an obstacle. The climate of the Arid Waste does not support many life forms, so this list is depressingly short. Like, really depressing. There are giant scorpions, however. They're found in the canyons. Their venom glands are used to produce acid. Look at their googly eyes. In the Arid Waste, you can find abandoned oil towers. This whole simulation is a lifelike copy of what the current day Arid Waste is like. As you can see, things did not go so well here. If only we developed renewable energy sooner. These abandoned oil towers is all that is left of our perverse industrialization of this place. At the time, we thought a method called fracking was a good idea. Since the oil was trapped in light porous rock beneath the topsoil, it brought out some nasty things from the depths of the planet. It also caused the oil to ultimately flood the entire planet. So now it's everywhere. Now, when we say abandoned, we are using the term loosely. We have not checked if they are really abandoned. If I had to guess, I would say there's a 10% chance that some of the sturdier life forms have found refuge in the towers. Maybe 20%. Maybe 40%. Look out for valuable blocks to pillage from the structure. There should be a good amount of steel plating you could salvage from the walls, and near the top of the tower, I do believe we use some pretty valuable construction materials. Our reports indicate there is leftover oil inside, as well as some useful crafting components. Fracking took place close to the current sea level of this simulation, so you should find the towers in the desert shrubland biome.
And speaking of which, there seems to be one right here.
Well, let's hope I haven't led XC443 to their doom.
Right, there's definitely bad things in here. I can see spawners. Maybe I will break these. I'm sure there's other oil towers, and maybe I'll run away and try and get them to... Ooh, no, we're going to get stuck in here. Right, I'm going to run away and hope it despawns. Oh, is that oil? That's a lot of oil. No, maybe it's just water. I think that's oil. That is a lot of oil. Now, this simulation unlocks something useful with the sieve. I think I can make a sieve. Yes, I don't see why not. And that is the ability to get quartz, niter, sulfur, blaze powder, and prismarine shards using red rock. So the red rock, we do need to hammer it, but I'm just going to grab a bunch just while I'm here, fill up a bit of space in our dank with it, because then we can just do some sieving and we should get plenty of things. And we will need some blaze powder, I think, in the relatively near future if I'm going to do the plan I think I'm going to do for power, but we'll see. Whoa, don't fall down too far. Yes, there we go, that's plenty. Okay, I've got rid of the blaze and the basalt spawner. I think there's still a couple of shulkers around, but they don't despawn. There's manulin in here, that's nice. Oh, those are really nice. I didn't come with a whole lot of space in my inventory. I didn't think... that's got a lot of oil in. I didn't really think I'd need it that much. So maybe I'll head back with my waystone and clear my inventory and we can get the rest of the loot. So I pretty much looted it. We don't need these steel structural arms. They actually don't do anything. But we got plenty of steel scaffolding. We have some... I don't know why these are all different, but there we go. Are you the same now? Who knows? Whatever. And we've got some blocks of steel, which is nice. Some sheet metal, some pistons, some conductance coils, some infused diamonds. So nice things. Oh, and some lead sheet metal, I didn't realise.
Your first task in the Arid Waste is to process the red rock that's found in the canyons. Crush it into dust and run it through a sieve. The rock contains valuable minerals, some of which you can use to produce TNT. This sieve is less primitive than the one used in the first simulation, used with an auto-sifter to automate this process. The sieve requires a mesh to function. The red canyon dust you receive from crushing the red rock is quite coarse, so a mesh made out of iron is required. A motor that will shake connected sieves is the auto-sifter. This motor runs on kinetic energy made from connected water wheels. Stone axles are used to connect the water wheels with the auto sifter. You can use the minerals sifted from the Red Canyon dust to make gunpowder, although salt is not available to you until you have finished producing lubricant, which happens to be your next task. The gunpowder can be used to create TNT. This will be useful in later tasks, but once you get your hands on some salt, you can use it to create some compressed iron. That's created by exploding iron or iron blocks. Not all iron will survive this process. Make sure you get a good supply of the sifted materials before the next task.
Okay, so before I actually get into making the sieve stuff, I am going to make myself a vacuumulator, which is basically a vacuum hopper. I don't know what the range is. It's probably not very big, but what it will do is it will collect the supplies from our automatic sieve system, which I've for some reason put the sieves here because I forgot that I could automate it. So yes, that is a very handy block. So I will make some water wheels and the auto sifter. Right, ignore that this looks terrible. I got confused about how the water wheels work and I did them backwards and I couldn't be bothered to move them. So we'll hide this. But basically it's working. So the water wheels go along, they go into the sifter, and if you put it the right way, the sieves shake. And I've just got a hopper putting the dust in. I know I could use a pipe, but I think the item ducts are quite slow at this stage, so maybe we'll improve that later. But basically, goodness, this is ugly, isn't it? We are getting everything. We are getting blaze powder. Oh, we're getting tons of quartz, niter, prismarine shards, not prismatic. I've been playing too much Stardew Valley, and sulfur. So that's very nice, and it's all pretty much automatic. I did make a draw controller for this. I thought it would be faster. It's not incredibly fast, though, is it? But whatever. There we go. So that is that automated.
Before you can move on to the next technological advance, you need to manufacture lubrication. Yes, you heard me. Lubrication. To start off, you will need a good supply of fish. Yes, fish. Now, being a caveman and all, your first reaction might be to go fish with a rod. Please don't. A resources fisher is what you need. This will catch fish when placed over a body of water and supplied with power. Very efficient. As you can see, you can now make some pretty cool machinery. Good job. Now, you might want something a bit more robust for power generation. Those water wheels aren't going to work forever, and a solid option at this point would be the thermoelectric generator. The thermoelectric generator mixes hot and cold liquids together to create power. Simple.
Right, so I'm going to make myself some leadstone flux ducts. We can make a whole stack, aren't we lucky? And we also want an energy output. And I should have gathered everything we need, I think, to make ourselves this device. Yes. I have no idea where to put this either. It should be in my schematic. It's going to call them my schematic. Thermoelectric generator. There we are. Here it is. It's large. It's in charge. It's kind of ugly. No, it's not. It's kind of cool. Where should we put this? Is it going to be unrotatable? Rotate. Up, rotate, north, rotate. I don't understand. That's fun. Whoa, I've clicked a button. Okay, I'll find somewhere to put this. I'll chuck it down. I think we're probably going to end up feeding it with lava and stuff. Oh no, I was going to try and make, we'll see. Probably lava to start with because we don't have any storage. So maybe I'll chuck it. Should I just chuck it here for now? I mean, that's not really near any of the other things that require power. Maybe it would be a better idea to chuck it over here somewhere then. Is it turning around? I don't think so. Right, maybe I'll put it over here. Ta-da! We have built it. So, it is going to have to be liquid starlight, which we can semi-automate now, I think, so that should be fine. And lava, which we can definitely automate. It's better to have liquid blaze or alternatively another liquid. But, and by the other liquid, I mean blazing pyrotheum. So, yeah, we've got some light wells. I will need to make a few more servos, but they're quite cheap. We have fluid ducts, item ducts. There is fluid ducts, there they are. So we should be pretty good. Okay, to not be lazy, we are going to make ourselves a magma crucible. And while we won't be able to make a whole lot of pyrotheum, I think we'll be able to make at least a little bit, which will be good. I'm going to make one bucket, and then I will use the power produced to refeed the magma crucible, which should hopefully keep running. I'm looking for fluid ducts. They're in here too. Wonderful. So let me go get set up. Had a small, tiny little explosion. It's not a big deal because I need to make these into hardened fluid ducts. If they're not hardened, they will explode under extreme cold and extreme heat. So yes. Also, I don't seem to be able to input. You have to input and output from the same side of the light well, which is a little annoying, so I'm just going to manually put the gems in for now. I don't think there's that high a chance that they get used up. 5% consumption chance. So, oh, and 1 millibucket makes like a 10,000 RF. Okay, that's kind of crazy. And now let's make ourselves the resources fisher. And now we are all set up and extracting the fish, which is just wonderful. Hopefully it keeps up. It should do, really. I'm also getting things like tripwire hooks, which I'm sure will come in useful, maybe. Oh, and bottles of water. Oh, well, I'm sure that definitely won't fill our chest up, but yay, fish.
The centrifugal separator can break down products into their base components. In this case, you will need to use it to separate bones and fish oil from the fish you have caught. You will also need an industrial still. Use it to turn the fish oil into salt and lubricant.
Here is our fractionating still, and will we be lucky? We won't, because I haven't made this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quick compass, and there we go. 1 centrifugal separator. Everything's set up. We have a stronger reinforced server on this, just so I can filter some more items. We've only got 3 fish so far. I don't know if there's some more. I'll also probably chuck most of the rest of this away. I'm just checking to make sure there's nothing I actually want. I know the enchanted books can be nice, but I really don't think I care that much. So the fish go automatically into the centrifugal separator to make fish oil, which goes into the fractionating still. For some reason it wouldn't output when it was next to it, so I've had to put a pipe in between, and it is making us lubricant and salt. With a bit of pulverized coal, we can make ourselves some gunpowder, and we can turn this into, well, we could if I'd read the recipe for TNT correctly. And now we can make ourselves some TNT. Oh, that's actually quite a lot of TNT, isn't it? Maybe I didn't need to make so much. Oh well, TNT. Right, I've come over here because I was sort of worried I'd blow up my base even if there's water here. So I'm going to drop, I think this is like 7 stacks of iron, and we blow it up with the TNT, like so. Oh, look, it didn't do anything wrong. And we got a bunch of compressed iron back, which is lovely. I'm going to kill a few more animals because I could do with some meat to eat. The potatoes aren't really cutting it, and with looting we do get quite a bit of stuff off them. And then we will head back.
Craft a compressed iron gear with lubricant and a fluid transposer to make lubricated gears. This crafting component is used a lot, so don't neglect automating them.
And here is the final steps of the lubricated gear. So we have the compressed iron that I've had in here. I put 3 stacks and I don't quite know how many I need. But anyway, it gets automatically compacted into a gear, which goes into a fluid transposer and goes with the lubricant from the fractionating still to make us the lubricated gears. I've also got salt auto outputting as well. How are we doing on fullness? Not amazingly. Oh, here's another fish. That's why I was keeping an eye on things. When that's full, I will then decide if I want to declare it or not. But yay, things are working pretty well. I did have to put a hardened upgrade kit on this just so I could put the gear working die in. But yes, it seems to be going all right.
You kind of dropped the ball on your first batch of plastic. It was brittle and flaky and generally just terrible plastic. Bad, caveman. Luckily, you can reuse the brittle plastic to make a stronger type of plastic, so this is a chance to redeem yourself. The first step to this process is refining oil into LPG. To refine the oil, you will need 2 to 4 refineries that are sufficiently heated. Make sure the refineries are not touching air, as that will lower the total heat of the refinery structure. A vortex tube can generate heat to adjacent blocks when supplied with pressure. Heat is good. Caveman, understand? You may want to put a heat sink on the cold side of the vortex tube to maximize the heat it can put out. Pressure is produced by air compressors. If the air compressors are left unchecked, they will produce too much air pressure and explode. When supplied with solid fuel, the air compressor will produce pressure, and when supplied with a security upgrade, the compressor will self-regulate and vent out pressure into the world, preventing it from exploding. Another useful upgrade is a speed upgrade, which will allow you to produce pressure much faster.
Let's start things off by making 4 refineries. I thought we'd make 4. It's always good to have as maximum as possible. There we go. Right, I know we were putting off making a silk touch pickaxe for some reason, but I actually need one right now, and that's because I need ice for the next recipe, which is the vortex tube. So there we go. That's ice? Yes, correct. Perfect. A bit of ardite creation later, because we needed ardite for the pressure tubes. I can make 2 vortex tubes. I'm making 2 because I'm pretty sure we'll need another one, so I thought I might as well make 2 now. And then we'll find out I need 3, so you know. And we are going to make 4 air compressors like so. I did have to make some more ardite for that, but that was fine. And finally, before setting up, some security upgrades.
Once you have a proper refinery set up, you can combine your LPG and brittle plastic in a thermopneumatic processing plant. Yeah, I know your tiny brain brain probably hurts from those words, but try and keep up. The TPP for short requires to have an internal temperature of 250 degrees and a pressure of 3.5 bars to create liquid plastic. Finally, you transport the liquid plastic into a plastic mixer to solidify it. This block only requires heat if you intend to remelt the plastic so you can change their colour. There, done. Plastic. That wasn't so hard, was it? Now you can relax and breathe for a few minutes.
For the next bit, I am going to need a dye mixer, and after collecting some things, I can turn our dye mixer into a plastic mixer. We're almost there, and here is our thermo-pneumatic processing plant, so I'll go get these set up. And here is our setup. So I have 4 air compressors with security upgrades in, so that should be fine. Our 2 vortex tubes with a block of compressed iron behind, because this helps with the heating process if you have like a heat sink. You can also make heat sinks to go on them. I don't know if that's going to be more beneficial or not. Who knows? Anyway, so we might need that, I guess. We are heating up the thing. It's covered on all sides. We're getting to about 127. I think that's probably still rising, so that's good. Obviously, the more heat we have, the faster it goes. And I've got oil that we found in those dungeons. We are making LPG, which is the top one, gasoline, kerosene, and diesel. We can use the gasoline in a gas compressor, and we are turning the LPG into liquid plastic. It takes 250, but it makes 2,000 liquid plastic, so that's really nice and efficient. And then we can chuck it into the plastic mixer and get whatever colour plastic we want. We're also going to need some just for polymer clay at some point, I think. But yeah, that's pretty much the system.
Well done, XC443. You have achieved a lot today. However, due to opening the arid wasteland dimension, I fear you have triggered a heat wave back on Earth. Therefore, you must rest for now and come back once the temperature is more satisfactory.